We are not truly afraid of failure. We are afraid of being seen failing. Often, it is not the challenge itself, but the eyes of others that paralyze us. But what happens when you decide to stand alone, no matter the judgment? This is the story of a boy who discovered that courage isn't about applause. It's about daring to stand when no one else will. Ethan was a quiet teenager, the kind you might overlook in a crowd. He wasn't the star athlete. He wasn't the loudest in class. He wasn't the one teachers predicted to change the world. What he was afraid. His fear wasn't of the dark or monsters under the bed. His greatest fear was judgment. The smirks, the whispers, the laughter. For Ethan, those things felt heavier than any weight in the gym. One day, his teacher announced a school competition, a speech contest. The theme, "What courage means to you." Ethan's heart sank. He couldn't think of anything worse. Speaking in front of hundreds of students, having every eye on him, every ear waiting for him to stumble. His throat tightened just imagining it. But that night, while staring at the ceiling in his small bedroom, he thought of his mother. She worked 2 jobs, never complaining, never stopping, all to give him a chance at a better life. She often said, "Courage isn't about what others think. It's about what you choose to do, even when you're scared." The next morning, Ethan signed up for the contest. His hands trembled as he wrote his name on the sheet, but deep inside, a spark flickered. Days turned into weeks. Ethan practiced in front of the mirror, but every time he imagined the audience, his knees wobbled. Sometimes he'd hear the phantom laughter of classmates in his head, mocking him before he had even spoken. Fear was his constant shadow. The day of the contest arrived. The school auditorium buzzed with chatter. Students filled every seat, teachers lined the sides, and judges sat with their pens poised. Ethan's name was called. He froze. His legs refused to move. His classmates whispered. Some even chuckled. He felt the old fear rise, telling him to run, to hide, to disappear. But then he remembered his mother's words. Courage isn't about what others think. Ethan took a deep breath and walked to the stage. His palms were sweaty, his heart pounding like a drum. He stood behind the podium, staring at a sea of faces. His voice cracked as he began. Courage is not the absence of fear. He paused. His mind screamed, "They're judging you. You're failing already." But he kept going. Courage, he said, this time louder, is standing up when your knees want to buckle. It's speaking when your voice wants to disappear. It's facing the fear of judgment and choosing to stand anyway. The auditorium fell silent. The whispers stopped. The laughter faded. For the first time, Ethan wasn't running from the fear. He was standing inside it. He continued, telling the audience about how he had always hidden, afraid of being laughed at. He confessed how the thought of judgment had chained him, stopping him from trying sports, from raising his hand in class, from showing who he really was. And then he ended with this. Today, I may not give the best speech. My voice may shake. My words may stumble. But I stand here anyway, because courage means choosing to stand, even if you stand alone. When he finished, there was silence. For a moment, Ethan wondered if he had failed. Then, slowly, applause began. It grew louder, spreading across the auditorium until everyone was clapping. But Ethan realized something important. The applause didn't matter. What mattered was that he had faced the judgment he had feared his whole life. And he had survived. He walked off the stage taller than when he walked on. The fear didn't vanish completely. It never does. But now he knew it couldn't control him. Moral of the story: courage is not about impressing others. It's about showing up, even when your voice shakes and your legs tremble. The fear of judgment loses its power when you decide to stand alone, with or without approval. Fear will always whisper, "What will they think?" But true strength answers, "It doesn't matter, I will still stand." Whenever you feel paralyzed by judgment, remember Ethan's story. Stand anyway. Speak anyway. Dream anyway. Because courage isn't found in the crowd. It's found in the moment you choose to rise alone. If this story touched your heart, let it guide your next step forward. And if you'd like more stories that inspire, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Together, let's keep standing tall.